Right, so we'll now welcome our second speaker of the night to tell you all about what natural options are out there that can help us as an alternative to prescribed HRT. So can we warm welcome, please, for Alison Cullen from Vogel.
Hi. I'm Alison Cullen and I'm a nutritional practitioner and I am proudly and naturally postmenopausal. And just to hold out that hope for you all there, it's brilliant this side of the menopause. So really good. I love talking about the menopause because knowledge is power. The more that you know and understand, then the more you are in control of what's happening. You can make the right choices and you can make a real difference to your experience. So Angela's done a fantastic job of explaining what's going on. And I like pictures. So I like pictures because just visual person and it makes sense to me. So this is really looking at the way that your regular cycle changes as you come into perimenopause, and it really helps to explain why you can feel and both physically and emotionally the way that you do, because your hormones are actually going bonkers. They really don't know which way's up, and your body's frantically trying to rebalance. And the issue is that those fluctuations are what is making you so much more sensitive to everything that's happening. So when you find yourself crying over something that is not something that you need to cry about, and you find yourself so much more sensitive. You're much more physically sensitive to all sorts of sensations, but you're also very much more mentally and emotionally sensitive. And that is part of the reason why you can often feel so unlike yourself. We get so many women in the clinic just saying, I don't know who I am anymore. I really don't know where I've gone. Who is this person? So it's important to be very aware that this isn't you going bonkers, but it is actually your hormones, and all of those fluctuations that they're going through are what's making you so much more sensitive. So this has already been covered a lot. This couple of things that it's really worth looking at in terms of asking, if you're talking to a doctor, asking for tests just to make sure that your iron levels are suitable, are healthy, your vitamin D levels and your B12. If any of those are low, then you're going to have a much worse experience. Okay. And iron levels are particularly important if at the beginning of your perimenopause, you start having really heavy and more frequent bleeds. And this is something that I sometimes wonder what it would take to kill some women, because the amount that some of my patients have bled is just terrifying. Okay, so if you're having these really catastrophic bleeds, or your periods are coming much more often, you're actually losing so much iron, and it's really important that is rectified, because if a lack of iron then goes on to cause a lot of other symptoms. So it can make you lightheaded, it can make you dizzy, it can make you feel disorientated, it makes you cold. It's just lots and lots of things. It affects your circulation. It's very important that you do get these things checked, and it's really easy for these things to be measured. Early perimenopause, then it's worth knowing about a herb called Agnus castus, because this does support your natural production of progesterone. So it will help if you have got into an estrogen dominant phase where your periods are coming thick and fast and the bleeds are quite heavy. But it's very important to use this appropriately. If your bleeds are really in that sort of flooding kind of stage, then actually hormonal treatment is more appropriate. But this is a useful one sometimes just in the early stages, when you just need that little bit of progesterone support so that your periods aren't as close together and as heavy. And it can also help with things like breast tenderness and irritable mood. It's not a miracle, but it can be helpful. So, but you can't take herbs that have an effect on your hormones. You can't take them alongside hormonal contraceptives. Okay, so that's one thing just to be aware of. But it will help with a lot of things like the irritability and some of the mood swings, cramping, and bloating. And it does actually work quite quickly as well, which is nice. As you get further into perimenopause, into the menopausal transition, then it's more likely that your symptoms will be due to low progesterone levels rather than higher progesterone levels. So this is where, obviously, if you want to go the natural route, you need things that are going to just very gently support your estrogen levels. And that's where something like menopause support can come in. It's soya isoflavones, fermented soya isoflavones, which just give you that little gentle estrogenic support. There's a bit of magnesium in this particular combination. There's also magnesium and a little bit of hibiscus, which is good for your heart. Magnesium is one of the key nutrients that you're going to need during menopause. If you don't take any other supplement at all, magnesium is the one that's really going to be most helpful to you. It helps your muscles, it helps your joints, it helps your bone strength, it helps your mood. It's good for your digestion. It helps with cravings. It's good for blood sugar balance. You know, it just goes on and on. It's a fantastic nutrient to have, and it's used up a lot when you're stressed. So most people could do with a little spot of extra magnesium. So you can use this throughout the transition if your symptoms are low estrogen. So low estrogen will be your low mood, your periods are getting lighter, they're further apart. You get low libido, you can get a lot of dryness. It's a lot of the very common symptoms, hot flushes, night sweats, all of those sorts of things. So the magnesium helps with the tiredness and fatigue as well. Also, a lot of things with the menopause, it's there's one symptom then goes on to cause lots of others. So, for example, if you've got hot flushes and night sweats, you don't sleep well, and then everything gets worse, doesn't it? You know, there's nothing that goes well if you're not sleeping well. I mean, sleep deprivation is a form of torture, let's face it, and there's only so long that you can sustain your life the way that you're used to living it if you're not getting enough sleep. So really important to deal with that. So another option that if you don't want to use something hormonal, if you're using hormonal contraceptives and you can't use a hormonal herbal remedy, and just quickly, that there has been a lot of research done with the isoflavones over a whole 5-year period, showing that they are very safe to use on things that they don't cause changes to breast tissue, uterine tissue, thyroid tissue. So they are quite a simple one to use, just gentle support. But if you don't want to go the hormonal route, then you can use sage, and sage extract is really helpful for temperature dysregulation. So where your temperature is fluctuating, where you're getting hot flushes, night sweats, and the chills as well that go with those symptoms. Often, as Angela was saying, people don't realise so much, talk about so much. But sage is useful for controlling your temperature, helping with the hot flushes, the night sweats. Once you get the night sweats under control, then lots of other things start going better as well. So that's important. And also the sweats during the day, because the flushes during the day, because they can undermine your confidence, can't they? They can make it really difficult to feel like yourself. So it's completely non-hormonal. There's no estrogenic action, no effect on your hormone levels. Suitable short-term or long-term. It doesn't matter what other medication you're on, so it's perfectly suitable to be taken. And it doesn't. You can take this alongside your HRT. You can take it alongside hormonal contraception, just for giving you that extra temperature control. So it's just a very simple and easy one to use. Another remedy that I love working with my menopausal patients is Passiflora, because stress is such a massive mediator for a worse menopause. Okay, so the more stressed you are, the more stressful your life is, then the harder it is for your body to balance your hormones and for you to get through your menopause in one piece. Okay, and obviously the more symptoms that you're then getting, it's a bit of a vicious circle, isn't it? The more symptoms that you're getting, the more stressful it is. So knowing how to intervene there is really important, and using Passiflora can be really helpful because it can reduce your stress levels, help you to sleep better. And this particular spray, which I quite like, has got lemon balm in it as well. So it's simple and easy to use, not contraindicated with anything. Right, nutritional advice, just my picks, if you like, the most important things and the things that are going to have the most effect for you. First and foremost is drink more water. Please, please, please drink more water. Now, it sounds too simple to be effective. I actually had a patient who very honestly said to me, because I asked my patients that just drink more water for 2 weeks, okay, and then report back and we'll see how they're doing, because nobody believes that it's going to have that much impact on them. But I said, just do it for 2 weeks. And she actually came back and said, I only did this to prove you wrong. But she said, it's incredible. I can't believe how much better I feel. And now I'm telling all my friends to drink more water. So that was great. It really does make a difference. All right. Yeah, great. Get another glass down. It really helps. If you're sitting there thinking, but I already run to the loo too much already, yeah, and I don't want to put any water in there, please be aware that the more concentrated your urine is, the more it will irritate your bladder lining and the more often you will need to go to the loo. You'll only pee a little bit each time you go, but you'll need to go a lot, okay? Whereas the more water you drink and the more dilute your urine is, the less often you will need to go to the loo. You will go like a camel when you go, but you won't have to go as often, okay? So please, please, please drink more water. Best way to start the day, the minute you wake up, is to get yourself some warm water and get a good ½ litre of water down you, okay, before you're even awake, before you even do anything else, okay? Really important to do that. Another little tip that I would say is it can be really impactful is don't drink your water with your meals, okay? Because as Angela said, the menopausal symptoms affect your digestion as well. And if you dilute your digestive enzymes with loads of fluids, then they're not as powerful, and that is undermining a system that's already struggling a little bit, okay? It's also, if you fill up your stomach with lots of fluid, you've got more volume there and you're more likely to get acid reflux, which again is slightly more likely during menopause anyway. So just keep your water away from your food, okay? So very, very simple little tip that just helps so much. The extra water will make your brain function better. It stops your joints aching so much. It gives you more energy, and it stops you craving quite as much as well if you're feeling that you're overeating. Just be aware that you will be more sensitive to caffeine. I know it's so difficult. If you're tired and you haven't slept well, then you can feel like the caffeine's the only thing that's getting you out of the door in the morning. But just be aware that can then be impacting on your next night's sleep, okay? So you need to stop your caffeine a lot earlier than you maybe did previously. You're going to be more sensitive to it. So definitely don't be looking at caffeine after midday, okay? Because that's not going to help you at all. And this, if no other time of your life, is the time, and I'm aware I'm saying this to a room full of women who've spent their entire life looking after everyone else, okay? This is the time to start putting yourselves first. Yeah. How do you even start thinking about that? This is so important, okay? Rest and relaxation. Prioritise your rest time, your relaxation time, your me time. One of the things I find most often with my clients is that they'll be emailing me at midnight, at 1 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? Right? And what they will say when I ask them about this is, that's how long I have to stay up until everyone else stops asking me for things and I can just do my own stuff. Yeah? Yes. Right. Don't be having any of this. This is ridiculous. You need your sleep. You need your me time at a time that is actually going to work for your body. So it is very important for you, for your health, for your mental health, for your physical health, that you get your rest and relaxation. It's also important for everyone else around you, because the more that you do get that rest and relaxation, the better your menopause is going to be, the easier you are going to be to live with. So it's to their benefit as well to make sure that you get your rest and relaxation. Avoiding low blood sugar levels as well, because if your blood sugar's wobbly, then you're going to be much more irritable, you're going to have more cravings, everything's going to feel worse. So eating regularly and eating more protein. It's really important to eat fewer carbs, more protein during menopause, and that will make a big difference as well. Okay, so there's absolutely tons of other things that will be helpful, and I'm sure you guys are going to talk about exercise and a few more nutritional tips as well. But those are just my key points for you. And yeah, keep going. It's great on the other side.